Okay, let's talk about the thing you probably haven't said out loud to anyone. You don't want sex anymore. That desire that used to be there, it's gone. Quiet. Or maybe it's just like gone completely. And it's not that you don't love your partner, it's that the wanting itself has flatlined. And you can't force it back no matter what it is that you try. And somewhere in there, maybe you've started to quietly wonder, like, what's wrong with you? And if that's you, take a breath because you are far from alone. And there is real physical reason why your desire has disappeared. And it has nothing to do with your marriage, your age, or being cold. So let's get into it. First, I want to say something very gently because I know that sometimes this topic carries a kind of shame that others don't. And I want to say, first of all, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not cold. You're not failing at being a woman or a partner or a person who's supposed to be grateful for a good life. And you are far from alone in this. In fact, I have this exact conversation more than maybe any other. And every single woman that I've spoke to in my practice, she's convinced that she's the only one because nobody else is talking about it, right? You go out to brunch with your friends and no one's talking about, their libido disappeared. So let me say it for all of us. The wanting quietly going away is real. It happens to strong, loving, capable women, and it's not a character flaw. It's actually a signal. And by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly what it is that your body is telling you. Because here's what usually happens with this one. It's like you notice the spark is gone, and instead of getting curious, you turn it on yourself. You decide, okay, maybe you're just too tired. Maybe you're just getting older. Maybe this is what like long marriage becomes, or what your 40s are, or 50s, or 60s, or 70s, or what happens after kids. Or the quieter, sharper one is you start to wonder if something's wrong with you, especially, if other women still feel it and you don't anymore, like what's going on? And so you keep it to yourself because it feels too vulnerable, too sad to say. And that silence is the loneliest part of the whole thing. So we're taking it out of the silence right now. And can I say one more thing to the guilt? Because I know it's sitting there. This quiet does not mean that you don't love your partner. It does not mean that something is wrong with your relationship, or that you've fallen out of love, or that you're somehow doing marriage wrong. I mean, I watch women quietly torture themselves with that story, and it simply isn't true. So you can adore your partner and still have a body that's too depleted to generate desire, because desire, libido, it doesn't run on love. It runs on surplus. The love is fully intact. It's just like the tank is just empty. And those two are completely different things. And it can get confusing for some women. And that has made, in fact, a lot of good women feel like frauds in their own marriages over something that's never about their heart at all. So let's actually understand what desire is, because I think we get it completely wrong. We treat wanting, right, and sexual desire like a switch that's either on or off. And if yours is off, oh, something must be malfunctioning. But that desire, that libido, was never a switch. Desire is what your body allows when it has enough left over. It's not a baseline function. It's like breathing. You have to breathe. It's actually surplus. It's what shows up after your body has covered everything it needs just to get through the day. And only if there's something left in the tank, which means when that wanting goes quiet, it's telling you something's wrong with the wiring. That doesn't mean, that's not what it means. It's actually telling you that there's nothing left over. Okay. So let me give you the picture for it. Think of desire like a pilot light. the pilot light in your stove, that small, quiet flame. It has to be lit before the big flame can ever go ahead and catch. So your body treats that pilot light like a luxury. And when your body has spent years and years in survival mode, braced, depleted, keeping you upright through everything you carry, it does the sensible thing that any under-resourced system does. It blows the pilot light out. Not to punish you, but to conserve. Because to a body that's just trying to survive the day, that desire, that wanting, right, is the most non-essential thing that there is. So you don't stop to want things when you're running from something because you're in danger. Like, you're not like running from the tiger, like, oh my gosh, I just want to go get busy with my husband. No, that doesn't happen, right? If you're in danger, you're just going. Now, here's what almost no one realizes. Your missing sex drive and that flatness and the other things in your life, right? When you're just kind of flat about everything else that's happening, they're the same, because that same pilot light actually lights up everything. So the wanting your partner and the wanting to take a trip, the wanting to pick up a hobby, the little spark of looking forward to your own day, well, that's one flame. And when your body blows it out to survive, it doesn't just dim your desire in the bedroom. It kind of like dims your appetite for life in general. And that flatness isn't you being ungrateful. It's a body that doesn't have enough left over to want anything in a long, long time. Okay. And that's what I call the survival tax in my body-led method. And a body that's running in survival, it borrows from tomorrow to get through today. And the very first thing it stops paying for is anything that's surplus. So desire, play, curiosity, the parts of you that make life feel like more than just a to-do list, right? The parts that you need, that you want, that you bring you joy. So run that long enough and it becomes what we call a body debt. And one of the quietest, saddest lines on that body debt bill is a woman who can't remember the last time she genuinely wanted something. And I'm not just talking about in the bedroom, but anything. Now, here's the trap, because I watch women fall into it. Some of them, they try to force it. They try to manufacture wanting through effort. So they're scheduling it. They're pressuring themselves. They're treating their own desire like one more thing in order for them to perform and fail at. Or they go hunting for a pill or a supplement to switch the drive back on. And I understand the impulse, but you can't force a pilot light. You cannot will yourself into wanting. Pressure is actually the exact opposite of what desire needs. And it only comes back when a body feels safe enough to relax and actually have that surplus again. So trying harder to want things is just more pressure on a body that's already basically tapped out. I remember when one of our clients, she had come in and oftentimes we do our initial evaluations with the husband and the wife present because it's important. And I remember she asked him literally to step out of the room. So he steps out of the room and she's like, listen, I got to tell you, this is something that you have to know. And she says, I have no desire. I have no sexual desire. My husband gets really ticked off and annoyed, but I don't know what to do with that. And here was this woman, okay? She was the CEO of her company. She was a business owner, and she was literally running ragged. She had kids that she was also taking care of, and there wasn't anything left in her tank. And we needed to not just go ahead and rebalance the things in her body so that her body could function more efficiently, but we needed to get her to the place where she could actually have that spark in her life. Because the truth is, she no longer wanted to go out with friends. She didn't want to do fun things with the family. She just wanted to be left alone at that point. And when you get there, that's what the feeling is like. But as we recalibrated, right, as we brought her body back into balance, all of that all of that shifted. I remember we usually grade things in our practice. Like I'll ask a woman about their libido on their, one of their intakes, and we'll have them rate it on a score of 0 to 10. And I remember when we were sitting there in that session, she's like, it's a -1. And then one appointment I was meeting with her and she's like, it's 11. And I was like, whoa, okay, nice shift there. And it only took a little while for that to shift. So that's the good news, because it's real. And I've watched it happen more times than I can count. That pilot light, like its ability to turn on, is not gone. It can't be gone. You were born with it. It was just turned down low while your body was busy keeping you alive. And when your body finally gets the signal that your body is safe, that there are some reserves, that there is no emergency, and that there's room to relax, well, that surplus comes back. And with it, so quietly at first, you may almost miss it, that wanting comes back, the desire. And you catch yourself looking forward to something again. You feel a flicker of yourself as a woman, not just as a machine that gets everyone through the day, right? And the aliveness returns, not because you forced it, but because your body finally had enough left over to actually, light that flame again. So here's where to start. And notice it has nothing to do with performing or forcing anything, because that was never the way in. I made a free 21-day nervous system calibration for you. I send you 2 small texts a day for 3 weeks. They're very gentle signals that begin telling your body, hey, it's safe to have that surplus again, that that's the soil that desire grows back in. So it's free and it's linked below. You can get it at go.thisisdrz.com/nervous system. And of course, if you know a woman who's been quietly grieving this exact same thing, maybe she thinks she's the only one, send this to her. It might be the first time that anyone's ever told her that it isn't her, and that flame and that spark is not gone. All right. This is Dr. Z.